he was going on military might and economic might, right? So you've been here long enough. What was this before it was Galax? What was this store before it was Galax? Lena's. Remember it was Lena's? Wasn't that black owned before? Yeah. This was black owned before. Even Galax. The original Galax is over there on North Avenue. Over there by Jake's, right? Over there on North Avenue by Jake's. Do they own Galax anymore? Who own them? The Arabs. Lena's used to be here. Lena's is no longer here. A black-owned business, a black-owned grocery store. And we're going to show you that in the scriptures. That the white man is going to own everything. Read 48 for me.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Thy who?
Thine enemies.
Is that plural?
Thine enemies.
It says you're going to serve your enemies. That's plural. Because this transatlantic slave trade wasn't the first slave trade we went in. Went in the sub-Saharan slave trade. We helped build that Great Wall of China that's out there. You can look that up on your phone. It's called the Ming Dynasty. That we helped build that Great Wall of China out there in the Ming Dynasty. They sold us in the sub-Saharan slave trade over to the Chinese and helped build that wall up. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
He said the Lord sent them against us. Why? Because the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we didn't want to keep God's law, statutes, and commandments. So we don't want to listen to our Father that's in heaven. Guess what? He's going to punish us. And we ain't going to like his punishment. This is punishment from the Lord right here. Slavery. Being at the bottom of society. That is our punishment. Just like if you had a son and said you got to be in this house by 9 o'clock and he come in at 9:30. You got a punishment for him to correct that behavior. So next time he going to be coming in at 8:55. Read.
In hunger.
In hunger. Grocery store. He's going to own all the grocery stores. We don't own Walmart, Sam's Club, Galax, Walgreens. We don't own Woodman's. We don't own none of them stores. Showing you right now, real life, this used to be called Lena's, a black grocery store. But now they had to sell out because they can't keep up with Walmart. They can't keep up with Woodman's. They can't keep up with them prices. They'd rather sell it, make a little money, and keep it pushing. Name me another black grocery store here in Wisconsin. I'll wait. There is none. So these curses is fit a particular people. Because you got white grocery stores. Is there an Asian grocery store here in Milwaukee? Ain't there one on over there on Lisbon? On Lisbon and Appleton. That Pacific, great. They got a store. But we don't have a store. In our own community on the north side. We fit these curses right here.
Bring it out.
Read.
And in thirst.
And in thirst. So rain comes from the sky, from the heavens, free, right? But right now, if you collect any of that rainwater, do you know you can get fined for that?
Bring it out.
In California, listen, you bet not. California, Las Vegas, all those that have like real water shortages, collect that rainwater and see what happens. And these ain't no little fines either. Don't pay your water bill. Do they cut that joint off? They're going to cut that water bill. They're going to cut that water off. Saying it's telling you right there. And in thirst. Read.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness. You look at the back of the tag of your clothes. What do it say? Made in where? China, Taiwan, Indonesia, India. It's in USA. But we don't own the textiles. The cotton, the denim, all of that all of the real resources to make clothing, jeans, t-shirts and stuff. We don't own the textiles. We don't own the resources, the cotton, the denim to make those. These curses are fitting us. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
That's right.
That's heavy. This book is a true book. Read.
And in want of all things.
And it says the want of all things. If you wanted to get married, where you got to go? You got to go downtown, don't you? You got to get permission to die. You have to have a death certificate or else you never die. And a social security card, a birth certificate, a passport, a driver's license, a marriage certificate. we have to, in the one of all things, right? So it says in the one of all things, read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Look at this picture in here. Until he put a yoke of iron. Look at this, bro. Did this not happen to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? The Native Americans and the Hispanics, that happened in 1492 with Christopher Columbus. And then later on in 1619, this is when we went into slavery. Read.
Until he have destroyed thee.
He said, until he has destroyed you. Look at this. Our people is destroyed. We, like I said, for example, there's 8 million people in Chicago, in the city of Chicago. There's only like 600,000 here in Wisconsin. How are we keeping up with Chicago in the murder rate? No matter where you go to New Orleans, you go to New York, California, you go to Mexico City, Canada. In our community, we're shooting each other. We are destroyed as a people. We don't know our nationality.
Bring it out.
For example, let me ask Ronald, let me ask you a question. What is your nationality?
Same as yours.
Huh?
Same as yours.
What is that? What is that?
Same as yours.
What is that?
What is your nationality?
What is my nationality?
Yeah.
According to the Bible, I'm from the tribe of Judah.
The Bible ain't nothing but a reproduction of a reproduction of a reproduction.
But it's not a reproduction. This is our history book.
I know that.
This is our history book. But I got to ask you again, Ronald, what is your nationality? If you go out and you wanted to apply for a job, right? And they ask you name, age, race, what is your race? Or what you going to put down on that application? What would you put down?
I don't mark it.
You don't mark it.
Nope.
So typically, okay, all right, so you don't mark it.
I work for me.
You work for you. And that's fine, that's you. But what about our people, though? What about the rest of our people, though?
That's why you got that microphone.
That's why, listen, what about the rest of our people?
That's why you got that microphone.
That's we out here to try. But again, for example, I'm going to ask you this. Have you ever heard the term African American? So we say, oh, I'm African American. Well, most of our people say we're African American, right? So for example, me, I was born in 1979. The term African American came out in 1985 by Jesse Jackson when he was running for president.
What were you?
Listen, the God calls me from the tribe of Judah from the day I was born. From the day I was born. But this society right here calls you African American or black. A color in the crayon box or 2 white guys. So we're out here to teach you. We're out here to teach you your nationality according to the Bible. We're showing you that these scriptures fit our people. For example, let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 68. How did we get here? How did the so-called black people, so-called black African Americans get on this side of the world? How did we get on this side of the world? We was on the west coast of Africa. South coast of Africa, east coast of Africa, in the interior. How did we get here? That's the question.
Got it right here. Right across that ocean.
Right across that ocean. Would you believe that it was prophesied in the Bible over 2,000 years ago that if we didn't keep God's law, statutes, and commandments, that all these things that you see right here was going to happen to us? Listen, we don't get what Egypt is too, because again, we're gonna see what Egypt is too. Let's get it. Egypt. We're gonna see. We gonna find out today. We gonna find out today, Ronald. All right, you gonna find out today. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
He said, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. At this time, we walked out of Egypt. We walked out of Egypt. But this time, if you don't listen to God's law, statutes, and commandments, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, guess what? You're going to go back into Egypt. And let's get to what the Bible calls Egypt. Give me Exodus 20. Read.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the land of Egypt. Listen now.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. What does bondage mean? Slavery, right? Would you agree? Can we agree that that bondage means slavery. So we already seen this right here, that this happened. This is facts. This cannot be refuted. We celebrate February, Black History Month, every year. How come it ain't called Chinese History Month? How come it ain't called Russian History Month? Because it ain't happened to no other people except the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's why it's called Black History Month. Because it happened to no other people. Read 68 again, Deuteronomy 28:68.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Don't run away. Hold on. He said he will bring thee into slavery again. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Come on back, Rob. Come on back. We getting some history right now. You see how our people run away when the truth come out? History is coming out. History can't be disputed. They teach it in the schools all day. But when we try to match our history, which is our history book right here, with history of the white man, guess what? We want to run away. Because not my good old white man, not my good old master. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Just like I tell you, just like I'm telling you how it's going to go down, it's going down. Just the way I told you. With ships. And we can see this throughout history. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans went into slavery. With ships. And the Northern Kingdom, the Hispanics and Native Americans went in 1492. And then later, the so-called black man, the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, we came in 1619. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
He said, thou shalt see no more again. What we're not going to see? Our homeland, Jerusalem. Or the west coast of Africa where we was picked up at. We was picked up at the west coast of Africa. And listen, and tell me, and I used to ask myself this when I was young, how come ain't nobody tried to come pick us up? How come nobody went to war for us when they took us from our homeland? A couple of years ago, a Chinese man was drugged off of United Airlines, right? He was drugged off of United Airlines. Don't you know China said you better apologize to that man and give him a settlement, or else China will not fly United Airlines again? So United Airlines went in front of the camera, said we apologize to that one man, and gave him a settlement. We ain't got that type of power.
Bring it out.
We ain't got that type of power. We on the bottom of this society right now. You look right over there and see right there on 20th Street, 2 abandoned houses. Right there. Businesses that's not owned by us. Everybody flocking to the dollar store. Another business not owned by us. So showing you that these curses fits us, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You see that? Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
He said you gonna be sold unto your who?
Unto your enemies.
Unto your enemies. So again, the sub-Saharan slave trade happened. The transatlantic slave trade happened. All these slave trades happened. Even the slaves and the slaveries that's in the Bible. The captivities in the Bible. Assyrian, Babylonian, Persian Mede, Greece, Roman. Now we are right here in good old America. All of those fit us. We was going through that. Read.
You shall be sold unto your enemy for bondmen,
slave man,
and bondwomen,
and slave woman.
And no man shall buy you.
So we have plenty of people that tried to rise up. Nat Turner, birth of a nation. Nat Turner, birth of a nation, tried to free our people. Harriet Tubman tried to free our people. Marcus Garvey tried to unify us and free our people, but they didn't have this Bible. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X tried, but they didn't have this word right here. Even Obama, black president, what did he do for black people? Nothing. He gave us phone, we gave us Medicare, which they trying to dismantle right now, and phones. He ain't did nothing for our people. We still at the bottom of society. Why is that? Because we didn't want to hearken unto the Most High law, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
Period. We was going to be discontinued from our heritage, from our nationality. Give me that in Jeremiah 17:4. Our nationality, our heritage. Because our heritage comes with land. Our heritage comes with a language. Our heritage comes with the foods that we eat, and the foods that we should be eating and we should not be eating. That's what a heritage is. Something that you can hand down to your son, and your son can hand down to his sons. That's an heritage. Because I could trust and believe me, when you go not even several miles, listen, 5 miles down this way, you got what? You got Whitefish Bay, you got Nicolay, you got all of the goods. Lakefront is that way, and who usually live there? White people. But only a few blocks this way, you see abandoned houses. Something that how can we give this to our children? We don't own this. This is not our heritage. Read that.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
He even said, Jeremiah, even you, a prophet of the Lord, shall discontinue from your heritage. How are you going to discontinue from your heritage? You're going to be calling yourself black. You're going to be calling yourself African American. You're going to be calling yourself every other name except what God called you. An Israelite. That's your heritage is. Something that you can hand down to your son, and your son's sons, and your son's sons, well after you well and gone. Right? Read.
That I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
What?
I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
He said to serve our enemies. Didn't we just get done reading that in Deuteronomy 28:48 and in 68? So this Bible is repetitive, but we got to sit down, we got to read it. We got to examine it. We got to read this bad boy from Genesis all the way to Revelations, with the Apocrypha in it too, to know in these last days who are the real Israelites according to the Bible.
That's
the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.